now that my headliner is in and looking pretty good, it's all plugged in and ready to go, it's time to work on getting this thing running. And this bag right here is the wiring harness. So I always put these wiring harnesses in a trash bag because it's a long time to be out of the car, and it protects it and keeps it nice and clean. Every end I take off gets labeled and taped so that I can plug it right back in, and I'll clean and dielectric grease every one of my fittings or my connectors. But you can see how clean all that stays. So I'm fixing to spread all this out across the floor and then just start connecting it all back together and put the battery in it, and hopefully this thing will fire up. Clean out the floor, getting ready to put the wiring harness in, and before I do that I want to get all the plugs back in place where I pulled them out where we could blow stuff out. And before I did that, I thought I'd go ahead and wash the floor, so I end up blowing it out, vacuuming it out, fixing to wash it out. Then I can may do some dyno mat depending on how it lays in the wire, and then start putting the wiring harness back in. But there was a coin in the floor when I first pulled the carpet out, and I couldn't really tell what it was. I knew it was a penny, but I didn't really look at it that close. So in cleaning the floor out, I kind of cleaned it off, and just so happens it's 2016. It looks just like whoever built this car, you know, this was a Hellcat, 2016 Hellcat, and I guess right before they put the carpet in, they must have pushed it down into the material there on the floor, that sound deadener, and I just thought it was pretty cool that it's 2016. I don't know where it came from, but anyway, let me show you what this looks like. This is pretty cool. So right here, which is right on the driver's, right on his right foot, there's a penny stuck in the rubberized coating there, and I cleaned it off, and it's a 2016. I don't know if I can show it on the camera. 16 penny. So somebody put that there probably. It'd be pretty cool if somebody sees this video and they were the person that put this in this Hellcat. The wiring's looking like. I got it all out of the bag, and it's plugging right back in with all the fasteners, and I've had to modify it a little bit right there. All back there in the trunk, but I had mocked all that up, and that's where that box goes, and the antenna. It's all going back in good. Everything is marked, labeled, where direction it came from. Alright, I've got all the wiring plugged back in and back together, cleaned all the connections, put just a small amount of dielectric grease on every one of the terminals, and I'm about to put all the air duct in, and then I'll be putting the dash in. Let me go around the other side. Alright, I'm going to video all this for later. If there is an issue or something, I can go back to this video and look back at all this, because it's going on for good. I've checked all my flappers. I disconnected the arm on those and made sure they turned, because I remade those ends, and the tolerance and clearance on them is so close to get that in there for my defrost. So I'm fixing to put all my defrost in, and my air duct in, and then put my dash in. Alright, TJ, I want to show you how good this ID plate made it. Got this custom ID tag made for the Charger, and gives it a new style look, and I have the original little flowered rivets, and boy, that turned out nice. Set the dash, and this is my air ducting that I totally remade. This plenum went way up under the dash of the Challenger, and I've had to cut all that down, whittle that down, remake the ends to where they strike the dash bezel as air ducts that'll strike right into these, so I had to secure that, but then clear the actuation of the wiper system. The wiper system is so tight in there, and then before I put this dash in, I made sure I had a little bit of a silicone on these, and all the nuts are tight, everything clears. One final check on all that, check through all the wiring, and then I'll have this video here in case just in case I need to go back and look at any of this if something does touch. But it looks like it's all going to clear and be serviceable, and so far so good on it. And I'll put my console in. Alright, it's finally the moment of truth. It's the 21st, which will be Supercharger's birthday if it starts up. So after all that 3,000 hours of the work, put it all together. I actually got TJ here. He's going to be the first one to start it. He's inside the car. We got a new battery in it, and here we go. Run it for a second, but look at the smile on that man. Alright, we better shut it off and get everything checked out. After getting it running, I've been able to move it in and out and see how my wheels and tires do on the front. I never did finish cutting that out because I wanted to just see how that reacted and kind of make a good look on that cut. See if I wanted to raise the car or if I just wanted to leave it where it is. I really want to leave it where it is because it's all Hellcat. It's the original springs and every bit of it is factory stock. I want to keep it that way. So I ended up cutting quite a bit out of here, and I'll show you what that looks like. I ended up getting the hood latch stuff done. I'm operating the 69 Charger hood latch with the Hellcat interior handle through a cable and made all that work, and that's working good. And yeah, we got it running. It's got remote start. All that's working. Backup camera. I've got the front windshield set, and I'll show you how all that's looking. All right, up front here, I got your all your support pretty much done. I'm gonna add just a little bit more to support that latch, and back here is where I've added the cable. So now you have the cable from the Hellcat, and it comes around and fabricate a little bracket and mount, and I'll just fish that cable through there. So that worked out good. And then here's the window. I set the window. I set it in a way where we can do body work around it. So it's set on actually setting tape they had back in the 70s. That style of tape in there. And then once I get all the body work, I can do all that body work down in that valley and around that edge. This is already painted the color of the car. And then come back and I'll put my urethane glue all the way around it, and it'll be like in a new car. And here's the Wheelhouse. This is the first cut I did. And then on this other side, I've taken your wheel and strut out, took the spring off, and then compressed it all the way up and turned the wheel. And it looks like the factory bumps are almost exactly perfect with the cut I have. I'm going to add just a little bit behind that, lower that bump stop down and add just about a 1/4 inch behind it. And then you'll have the bump stops so that it won't hit that fender, and then I'll clean that up and put a lip on it. And that's pretty much done. You can see how it squats down where we did that rear end fit. It looks like that tire won't go up in there, but it's got quite a bit of room. I mean, it was fit right around it. It'll go all the way. I took the springs out of the back and did the same way. Did full, articulated the full travel of that big 12-inch tire that's on there. And you can see how the inside is. I can get my other seat in. And yeah, all my electronics are working. Look at my back glass just set there for now. But I'll end up flush fitting it as well. I had to have that to clear the seats. You can see how close the seats are, but just enough to get your fingers over. But without raising all that, couldn't have done that. And I didn't want to modify the seats or anything. Every bit of the Hellcat is you could get right from the dealer or parts house. It is. We've got the car running. I've driven it around just to see how the suspension stuff was going to react to the fender, and it was too close. So I have come back in here and cut it out just enough to where I could drive around it clear and it wouldn't bottom out. I actually pulled up on a little hill on this one wheel, and it was close, but it wasn't touching it. And I feel like it was pretty maxed out. So I pulled your struts off, removed the springs, and then I actually pushed the wheel with all the suspension all the way to the top and then rotate it. And it all but cleared. I mean, it cleared, but it was maybe 5 millimeters or so. So I'm going to take and raise that just a little bit more and bring out just a little bit more, and I think it'll be good to go because it's actually hitting the factory bump stop in the Hellcat with it cut just like this, which looks pretty good. And I'll put tape back on here because I'm really not sure how I want this to look, so I'm just going to kind of let it evolve and let the car kind of show me what it wants here. So I'm going to take this and take a mirror image over on for the wheel, and then maybe come back out here to the opening from maybe the rim to the opening here and draw that on here, and then draw the one that's from the wheel to there, draw those out on there, and then just try to blend them all together. So I'm going to mark both sides. I'm going to measure from here down to make sure they're the exactly same length, and then probably put me something across it and drop down some lines where I can see how wide it is in relationship to this and get them exact. But yeah, just kind of hold on loosely and see what happens. I might kind of make this thing have a little lean forward. I don't know yet. I'm just going to. This looks like the way it's evolving here. I know when my suspension is fully articulated up, I'm all but touching right there. I mean, maybe 5 millimeters. So that's going to be my center point in my height. So I took my compass and I drew my wheel all the way around with it at right height, everything level, everything set where it's supposed to be, and then that's that mark all the way around. So knowing it's touching right here, then that's going to be the arc of the whole wheelhouse, the highest point of it. And I'll probably bring that up just a little bit more, bring it out just a little bit, and then from there back I'm going to taper it all the way back real smooth. Then when it hits that turn, I'm going to turn it just a little bit more, and then round it at the bottom, just like it is on the back. And that means I'll have to add a little bit and do a little more shaping right there. But I'm going to go ahead and make this out of my angle, make both of them will be identical, and then start working them in, because I can change that around with my shrinker and stretcher and make it look good, and hopefully just install that lip, and then I can roll on to just pulling the doors and doing some more other things. Closer look, that mark right there all the way around is the exact mirror image of the rim, and then I'm going to have to add just a little bit here and do the other side the same way. I think that will work. Alright, I'm going to show you how I'm going to make this piece work out here. This is going to be the wheel lip, and the way it bends in my brake, one side's got a little more crisp edge, so I look at it and find out which one that is, and that's the face there, the one that's under the jaw. It usually is real flat and straight. And then I've measured it out to where it's going to take all that material in the back to go around there, and this in the front. And then after that, take and measure how far straight you can see in that radius. So I can see an inch, and then there's another good straight inch, another good straight inch. So pretty much 1 inch is will make a good place to bend. So I'm going to mark this all the way around through here at 1 inch. Then starting right here, I'm going to mark this all the way around at 1 inch, and then I'm going to put a little stretch on it at that 1 inch mark. All the way around, just keep stretching until it gets right on the money. So I'll stretch in this one right here and get it right, and then do this one and this one, work my way all the way down, then start working my way around. Then I can pull it in, I'll shrink it on the inside, pull it around that edge, and then I'll just make kind of what I want it to look like, and then I can move that around a little bit and cut and back and forth, and I hopefully make a real good looking wheelhouse opening right here. What it's starting to look like, I went through and marked all my spots and shaped this like it needed to be, and I put just the highest point of the crown right there where my wheel was closest to touch. I've raised that, 5 millimeters or so, and actually going to pull out just a little bit, give me a little bit more. I mean, we're just splitting hairs on that bottomed out position. And then I'm going to add a little bit down here at the bottom. This is a smaller tire and wheel, so I'm going to house it just a little bit, not much, just take a little bit of that gap out, maybe hide a little of that Hellcat structure there at the bottom. But that's kind of what I got so far. I'm going to turn that just a little bit more, but it's working out pretty good. Pretty good. This is what it's looking like. I decided to close this in just a little bit. It seemed like there was a little bit of a gap right there in the back, and shaped it just like the back fender, because that one really looks good. But when you can do it anyway, it's just hard to pick a path and go with it. But a lot of shaping going on, because it has to shape of the fender here. The lip has to match the angle of the inside of the fender. It has to have a break here for that body line. It's a complex piece to make. But now the made one, now I'm making the other side, and I'm just going to do a mirror image. And I already went ahead and put all my marks in here that I need from this one. I knew kind of where to mark it at, and then you can just kind of set up the stretcher. I'm stretching it here right now, and I got a shrinker that'll shrink it, but now I'm going to be stretching it to make it round. And then you can put something under the pedal of the shrinker and do the exact, every time you push it, it's going to be the exact same amount. And then just check it. Well, this one, I went around it one time, so I already kind of knew where this one is, and look how close I am already. And then I'll just come around here and work that back in, and yeah, so far so good, but that's what it's going to look like right there.